Hello guys, good afternoon, and in this afternoon we'll be doing exercise practice, practice drawing 61. And as you can see, the dimensions are shown on my screen, the specifications, and the 3D model. So based on experience, I think for me the degree of difficulty of this exercise would be about 8 out of 10. So this is on a much higher level compared to the previous exercises that we have done. So let's get started. Let's create a new document. Let's name this one as practice 61. And then the specifications here, the dimensions are in millimeters. So first things first, we need to convert our workspace units into millimeters. Okay, that's about it. And let's start. So I'll go to the top plane. You can actually choose any type of plane that you want, depending on what plane you prefer. So for me, I prefer the top plane on this activity. So the the vertical length of the based on the top plane, the vertical length of our drawing is about 150 millimeters. So 150 millimeters, I'll be hovering my mouse onto the point of origin, and so that I can make sure that I am following a straight line, and everything will be based on the origin. And I'm gonna edit its dimension. I'm gonna input here 150 millimeters as per specified, and then the horizontal length would be 105. It is divided into two, 105 and 75. Alright, so from this point towards that point, I'll input 105, and then another line for 75. Alright, so I need to create a close shape, a close figure. So in order to do so, I'm gonna hover my mouse at this tip, follow the straight dotted lines, yellow dotted lines, and then click on the intersection and then connect the 2 points. So I have a close shape now, which is a rectangle. And then the next thing is we need to follow a 10 millimeter thickness across. So 10 millimeter thickness. So from this point towards that point, I'm going to put 10 millimeters, drag it downwards. And then from that point towards that point, I'll put 10 and then drag it sidewards. And same here, 10 downward. And lastly, here to here, 10 and drag it down sideward. So I'll be cutting the excess lines now, just to make sure that um, everything is good, and then I won't be confused with a lot of lines. Cut that one, cut that one, cut that one. Alright, so let me just adjust this. Okay, so we have a 10 millimeter thickness across all over the our figures. Then the next thing that we would do is I would first create the base, this one. But first create an extrude the base in order for me to complete this one, and then before I move towards the upper part of the model. So in order to create the base, it must be based onto the center line of the um, figure. So center line, I'll be using a construction line in order for me to differentiate the actual lines from the lines which I am only using for reference. So from the center line here, it says that the overall thickness of overall vertical length of this base is 60 millimeters. So if we divide it into two, that will give us 30 millimeters each part. So the upper part will have 30 connected here, and the lower part will have 30 also connected here. And then the end point, this semicircle, it's actually based on the center and has a radius of 30. And the end point, if we are only basing it on the rectangle, this one, towards that one, yeah, it intersects with this line at the center of our figure. So in order to do so, at the 75 millimeter vertical length, I mean horizontal length, this one. So we'll put a line here, and then this is going to be our rectangular shape, just like that. We'll use actual lines, and then we create a semicircle. So a semicircle with a radius of uh, 30. So that means the di diameter would be 60, and then cutting excess lines, cutting this one, cutting that one, cutting this one, that one, and this one, and this one, and then cutting this one at the middle, this one also, that one also, and then connecting, I mean not connecting, but cutting this line, and that line. So we already have the shape of our base. And then um, let's separate, I mean not separate, but let's check, and then let's use on extrude. We click on the base, and then the extrusion, the length, I mean the thickness of our extrusion will be about 10 millimeters, so only 10 millimeters. And then actually there's another, at the tip of this one, there's this somewhat a vertical um, solid here, that one, from this to this, with a length of 20, 10 plus 10 plus 10, including the thickness of this one, of this platform, of the upper part, it's 40, but excluding that one, it's only 30. So from it's 30 including also the thickness of our base. So but if we only want to measure the height from this point towards this line towards that line, it's only 20 millimeters. So we only need to add 20 with a thick. So we need to create a new sketch on this solid, and then we use this, that one, and this one, and then we also need to project this line. Then from this point towards that point, we need to put input 10 millimeters, because the thickness of everything here is by 10 millimeters. And connected that one with it has a vertical length of 60 millimeters. And then we click on check, and then we extrude that shape upwards, because that's the direction needs to be upwards. And since including this at the bottom, including this one thickness of this one, we need to have a 30 overall. But since we are only extruding this part, we need to deduct 10, so that means we only need to input here 20. We click and check, and that's it. So we already have our base. Compare it to the drawing, that's actually it. And then the upper part will be done as we proceed. So that's for the base. We need to hide the base because we're already done with that. And we need to focus to our sketch number 1. And we edit our sketch number 1. And not edit, but we create another sketch at the top plane, and then we are just going to use the upper part, the outer lines, this one, that one, and this one. We do not include the base because we are already done with the base, which is our part 1. And we hide our sketch 1 now. And then there's a missing line here. Don't worry, we're just going to connect that. And then we proceed with our upper part. This one. This. The that weird shape. So we need to create 4 windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, with certain specifications. So first I'm going to um, do the two left windows at the left side. So it is based from the center at at exactly 105 from the left side, 105 millimeters from the left side. So this way I need to create a construction line separating the 4 windows. I mean the two sides, the left and this will be the left side and this will be the right side. Then the next thing I would do is I need to have a, yeah, we already have a thickness of 10 millimeters across, but we need to have a thickness of 10 millimeters also when it comes to this line. So I need to create another construction line connecting that point towards that point. Since the construction line that I made is this one, this line here, that one, it's separate. It's actually at the middle, in between the two. I mean, it's in the middle of this certain thickness. It's 10 millimeters. So I'm dividing the 10 millimeter thickness into two. So that means up the upper portion, I'll click N5, connect it here, and then at the lower portion I'll also input 5 and then connect it here, and then at this certain portion here I need to input 5 also because that's at the middle, that line is at the middle, and then also here I also need to click 5 and then connect it downwards. Then what I need to do now is that I'm going to delete or cut excess lines. Cut that line, this line, this line, this line, that line. Okay, and this line, this line, that line. Delete that, because we need 4 windows. I think everything is good. That's okay. I'm just gonna leave these construction lines there because that will serve as our guide later. So as of now, I already have 4 windows, so I'm going to proceed with the specification. So it says here that it needs to have a 30 millimeter radius. From the distance from this point, the center point, towards that point is 65. So I need to create a line. I'm just gonna put it just like that, and then towards that point, I'm gonna input 65, and then I'm using construction lines just to for convenience. Point, and same thing here. This point towards that point. Then I need to find the center. So 60 divided by 2, since the length of this one towards the 260, so it's already a center point. You can already view the center point, this one. I'm just gonna put, since the radius is 60, that means the diameter is the radius is 30, that means the diameter is 60. Okay, same thing at the bottom because they have the same. See, 230, 2-R30 means that the two windows at the left side each have a radius of 30. Same thing, I'll input 60. Then I'm gonna cut the excess lines. This lines, that, that, and that, and that. Alright, so I'm also gonna cut the lines at the middle, and this one also. So all good. So sorry about that. The next thing that I would do is, it says here that the outside part, this one, it needs to have a radius of 75. That means the diameter would be 150. So it is based from this point. So I'm gonna click that one, create a circle, and then indicate that the diameter must be 150. So cutting excess lines, actually, yeah, cutting excess lines, cut that one, cut that one, cut this one, cut that one, cut that one, and that one, and then cut this. Okay, just like that. Then the next thing that I would do is the inner part, these two, they share the same radius, which would be about 65. Um, 65 radius. So I'm gonna put it here. It says that since 65, with the diameter, if we are going to base it via diameter, we are going to input here 130, like that, and we are cutting excess lines. I'm not yet cutting because it says here we need to have 6 radius, 10 radiuses of these corners. 1, One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh yeah, that's six. So I'm gonna use sketch fillet on that point. I'm gonna indicate and also this point, that point also, and this point I'm gonna indicate radius of 10. Oh, that's a wait, I gotta just double check that one. 10. Let me just do it one by one. First, let me cut this one, just to avoid. Cut this one also. Cut that one and that one. This one. I'm cutting excess lines. All right. Oh, let me input here. Then, okay, that's good. Oh, I managed to cut the bottom part. But let me Control Z. Let me retain those lines. I mean those angles. I'm only gonna cut this here and that there. Right, and then this one needs to have radius of 10, and this also here, and this one also radius of 10 and a radius of 10 here. Right, so I'm gonna cut the excess lines now, and that also, this one also, that one also, that one. Alright, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm gonna adjust, connect these 2 points. Check. Let me double check. Let me, it's not working, so let me do another thing. I forgot. Let me, I need to create a circle here. Then, right, just like that. And same thing here. Then same thing here. Then and also the same thing here. Then right, so let's cut excess lines. This one also. Alright, so let me just adjust. Okay, let's adjust. That's not the actual shape. Let me adjust it. Need to adjust and align it just like that. Okay, that's good. And the next thing is this one, this point. Needs to have also 30. I mean 10. And not including this, but only this. Enter. Okay. It. Same thing here. So just like that. you need to adjust this one on that certain line there. Okay, let me double check. Just the thickness needs to have a 10, not like that, a 10 millimeter distance. Alright, that's good. Same thing here. Okay, and then next thing is we need to create a circle with a diameter of 20 and a radius of 15. So that means 20 diameter and another 30 diameter. So create a circle at this point, make it 20, and then also another circle, make it 30. Alright, and then cutting excess lines. Cut that line, that line, that line, that line, that line, and that line, another that line, and that, and I'll be cutting the to remove unnecessary lines because I've already used them, done using them. Right, so let me check. Everything is good so far. Everything is balanced. Unnecessary lines are already cut. There you go. There you go. Oops, not that one. Alright, so everything is good. Everything is balanced. Let me, that's all good so far. I actually, let me show that again. As you can see, it's quite, it doesn't, it's not circular here at this, at these two points. So what you do is, since these are two curves, what you do is you click on the tangent line. You click on those two, so that it will have a circular edge, not something as shown earlier. And then you click on these two, like a more balanced and circular edge. I mean corner. And you click on check. Do isometric view. All good. And now what you're going to do is, since what at the center is actually this one, what I'm going to extrude is are only this, the yellow, well, as you can see, the highlighted things. So I'm gonna extrude that like that. I'm gonna show my base as reference. As you can see, this upper portion should be on top of this portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust by using another tool. So I must first indicate the thickness. So the thickness is 10 millimeters. As you can see, it's 10 millimeters. So I'm gonna input 10, and then I'm gonna click check. Excuse me, this needs to be a new part. Click on check, and then in order to move this one on top of this one, we need to use another tool. Oh, the tool is um, actually we need to adjust. Yeah, I forgot. We need to actually there's something wrong. So let me just adjust. This needs to be here. As you can see, this one should intersect with this thickness here. So I'm just gonna adjust that one. So in order to do so, let me use the thicken tool. Thicken this one by 10 millimeters. I click on check, and then we need to reverse thicken that one. So in order to reverse thicken, you're just going to click on opposite direction, then indicate the thickness that you want to reverse it with. 10. As you can see, like magic. I forgot to click yes. Reverse thicken, you click on the side in which you want to reverse thicken, that side. Reverse thicken it, click on the opposite direction and indicate 10, and then you click on check. It's like that. So I did a reverse thicken because this certain area here needs to go on top of this area here. So and the next thing that I would do is I need to put this part on top. So in order to do so, we need another tool, which is transform. This tool. Transform. Click on the part that you want to move, that point, and then click on not translate by line, but translate by X, Y, Z. So Z would be the vertical movement, Y would be the angular movement, and X would be horizontal. So I'm just gonna drag it upwards, that, and this needs to be at 30 millimeters. So I'm gonna input here 30. Okay, and then I'm gonna click check. So it's already on top of the base, like that, and check it here. Okay, it looks the same. And we're just going to merge these two parts later on. We're already done this one. And the next thing that we would do is um, this pose. I mean a pole, a circular pole with a this one on top. So we need to show sketch number 3, something just like that. Then we are going to extrude this one. Let me hide these parts. We're going to extrude not that one but that one, just like that. That's not the correct one. We need to extrude the inside part only. Let me hide other parts. This one only. Like that, and we're gonna extrude it with a height of, from here to here, it's 80. So that means it including the thickness. But because it's already on top of the base, that means we need to um, check if it's on top. And it's not actually on top, so we need to really input 80 here, like that, and we click check. We put our let me correct that one because it automatically merged. So let me do extrude again, and I'll put in new, and I'm going to extrude that one at the middle. Let me hide this one, right, and then I'm going to input 80. I'm going to check. I'm going to show all the parts. Okay, I already have my pole, and it needs to have this circular on top of this pole. So we are gonna use and transform again. So, but first we need to extrude. Let me just check the thickness. So the thickness is also 10, as indicated here. It needs to be also 10. So extruding that part there, let me hide the part 1, 2, and 3. I only need these concentric circles, 2 concentric circles, just like that, with a thickness of 10. And click on check. I show part 3, and this part here needs to be on top of part 3. So in order to do so, I'm going to use the transform tool again. Transform, and translate by XYZ, and then 80 millimeters. Oh, actually 70 because you need to deduct 10. Like that. And then I'm going to show all my parts. Okay, as of now, it looks like this. Then the most challenging part are these S-shaped parts, just like that. In order to create that, we must be very careful with the details. As you can see, it says here that from this point, from the center of the pole towards this point, it's 35 millimeters. So we create a sketch on the front plane. actually we need to create a plane at the middle here, dividing these two. So that means we need to create another plane, the same position as the front plane, but it needs to be at the middle of this circle. So in order to do so, let me hide other planes, right, front, right, and the origin. So this is my extra plane. I need to put this plane in the middle here. So in order to do so, let me reverse the arrow like that, and then I'm gonna adjust it and make sure it's will be directly at the middle. So I'm gonna put here 75. Let me check. Let me check if it's okay. All right. As you can see, it's at the middle. So I can click check now. I'm gonna hide the front plane, and I'm gonna be sketching on this plane number one that I made. I actually created an extra plane because the front plane is too far from my target area in which I want to have a sketch. It's too far. As you can see, that means it will not have an intersection. So in order to have an intersection and connect the this new this S-like part, I need to have a plane that is at the center of this, at the center line. So in order to do so, I created another plane and then adjusted the reversed the arrow because it was going the other way. So I reversed the arrow and then adjusted it at the middle. So I'm gonna hide the front plane now. Now I'll be sketching on this new plane that I've made. So let me create a sketch. So I'll be projecting this circle, this one, and center line, that one. So I'll create a center line, just like that. And then it says here it needs to have a distance from the center line towards that point, 35 millimeters. So I need to follow that one. So from this point towards that point, it needs to be 35. Then I'm gonna go downward. I'm gonna use this one. So use, you need to project this and this. Then we connect it with actual lines like that, right? So that will be my base. And then I'll be connecting, and let me check. 35 needs to connect here. So I need to have a distance of 65 from from the, yeah, from this one. See, from this point towards that point, need to have a distance of 65. So in order to do so, click on this towards that, and let me input 65. Let me do that. Let me delete the lines here, and then I'm gonna put a line there. The distance is 65. Right? Then I'm gonna connect this point towards that point. Let me delete this construction line and this line. I need to close. So in order to do so, I'm gonna hover my mouse here, and need to have in uh, a polygon. That okay. So it's almost looking like a letter S. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm gonna use this one towards that one, since it's 35, and then the thickness here from here to here is 30. That means 15. 35 minus 15, that will be 20. So plus minus 10, because the thickness of every part is 10, so I'm only gonna need 10 here. I'm gonna put that downward. I'm gonna connect it downward, that, and connect T. So this needs to be 10, like that, because the diameter of this circle is 30, and then the distance from this point towards this point is 35. That means the radius is 15. 35 minus 15, that will be 20. I need to have a thickness of 10 here. That means the distance I'm gonna put here is only 10. That gives me a 10, 10 plus 10, 20 plus 15, 35 distance from here to here. And then, that's about it. Then I'm gonna cut this one. Since I need to have actual lines, not, let me correct this one. Need to have actual lines, not construction lines for me to be able to use the extrude tool, because I cannot use an extrude tool with construction line using construction lines. I mean, yeah, we cut the excess lines. Okay, so we will hide the parts now, and yeah, after hiding the parts, it looks like that. So I need to input the radiuses. So it says here this radius needs to be 5. That radius there. So this needs to be 5. I'm gonna do sketch fillet on this one and input 5. We're good. And then this radius on top of here, this needs to be 15. Input this one. Since cannot add sketch fillet, let me go ahead and delete this line. Actually, that's the wrong point. Let me delete that. Then redo it again. I'm gonna do it again. That's why I wasn't able to add, because I was clicking on the wrong point. Let me be accurate. That, and then I'm gonna input 15. Alright. So far it's already for um, manifesting the form of the sketch here. Then this needs to have a 25. This one. So let me just cut this excess line. I'm gonna put 25 here. Cannot add sketch fillet. Let me just go ahead and delete other lines that are not included. Okay. Let me go ahead and do it again. This needs to be 25. Oh, okay. And then here on top, yeah, so it's 25 across. So this means this needs to be also 25. Just like that. Click on enter. Let me go ahead. Is it 25 or 50? Let me double check. I Let me do it again. Okay, it's actually 15, not 25. Okay, so 25, 15, I'm just gonna use this tool in order to connect the curves from the straight lines. Alright, so that's it. I click on check. Are there any other specifications? So, okay, that's good. Let me go ahead and click on check. Then, let me go ahead and extrude this one. Just like that. Okay, let me show the other parts. And I will show you another technique. Instead of drawing each and every S-like parts, the 4 S-like parts, what I'm going to do is gonna use another tool in order to shorten the time that it takes to finish this work, and for us to be more efficient in our work. So it needs to have a thickness of the same thing, a thickness of 10. Needs to be 10. Since it's from the center, I need to reverse the arrow like that. I'm gonna put 5 here, and since it needs another 5 at the left, I mean at the right side, I need to click on second end position. I'm gonna input 5 millimeters So that means it has 5 millimeters on each side because we are basing the line here at the center. So I'm gonna click on check. So that's it. And it looks like that. So actually need to adjust this one to thicken this one, because as you can see, if we are going to zoom, I'm gonna zoom in. There's a gap here between here and here. We cannot merge these two things if there's a gap. So it's okay if they will overlap because at least they have an intersection. But if there's a gap, we cannot use the Boolean tool in order to merge them. So we need to um, thicken that certain portion there. So in order to do so, let me hide the other parts. I'm just gonna thicken it by 2 millimeters. This portion here. I'm gonna thicken it by 2 millimeters in order to cover the certain gap. In order for me to use the merging tool. Okay, it's already overlapping and there is no such gap, so we can use our merge tool. And the next thing that we would do is we first need to merge this to this. But first, we need to remove this one because as you can see in the drawing, in the actual, it's only in the actual model, there's no line, there's no overlapping line here. We need to delete this one. In order to do so, we are going to do the reverse thicken. Click on thicken, click on the face in which you are going to reverse thicken. So that one, face, that face, that face, and that face. I'm gonna reverse thicken them. Click on reverse, and I'm gonna reverse thicken them by 65 millimeters because that's the indicated millimeters there. And not 65, but um, 65, 90. It's actually 30 millimeters. See, I mean 25. I mean actually not 30, 25, but 35. So sorry about that. As you can see, it's 35 because the distance from here is here 65 and the distance from 10 to 10 is 90. So we need to have a 10 millimeter thickness. So that's why we have 35 millimeters. You can check. So we already adjusted it so that there will be no overlapping at the bottom. And what we're going to do next is, this is going to be a trick I'm going to show you. Instead of manually doing the same steps that I've made in order to create this S-like figure on all four sides, what you're going to do in order to make use of the tools and in order to be efficient, we're just going to use this tool, the circular pattern. So we are going to click on this, and then the axis of pattern, since this can only be used if and only if the sides are, four sides are equally distant, and then um, it needs to have a circular axis, this one, because we are using circular pattern. So we are going to click on this circular axis, click on the circular axis in which you want it to be mirrored or pattern. So we click on the circular axis and boom, and click the number of patterns you want. So we only want 4, so that's why we are indicating 4. But if you want 20, you can put in 20, but it will look like this. It's kind of cool, but that's not the thing that we want. So we only need 4. So that's it. And boom. See? Instead of manually doing them, manually redoing all of those things, you only need one tool to do 4. And then, since we already have intersecting points, they are already intersecting, what you're going to do next is merge them. So I'm gonna merge this one towards this one, and then merge it towards this one, and I'm gonna merge this one to and this and that point, and then I'm gonna merge it at the pole. Let me do it one by one. I'll be able to show it to you how it's done. So I'm gonna hide other sketches, hide all sketches I mean, then hide all planes, like that. So what I'm gonna do first is click on Boolean, click on this part and this part. So that's already merged. And the next thing that you will do is click on Boolean, click on that part and this part, and that this one, that part. Okay, you can check. Then another Boolean, this one and this one. Click, and another Boolean, this part and this part. Check. So they're already connected. And the next thing that I would do is I need to merge this part. It's already as one part. As you can see, if I hide part 4, all the upper part and the all four S like figures are already as one part. So what I'm going to do next is I need to merge this circular this outer circle here with the part 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Boolean, I'm going to click on the circle and click on part 4. I'm going to click check. So they are already as one part. And what I'm going to do next is the pole, this one, the dark blue pole. I'm gonna merge it with the part number 3. As you can see, the other parts have been merged into one. So I'm gonna click on Boolean, click on this part and this part. They're already as one part now. So I only have two parts. And last but not least is connect the base towards its upper part. So I'm gonna click on Boolean again, click on the upper part and then click on the lower part. And I'm gonna click check. So they're only as one part now and it's finished. And comparing it with our our 3D model, it looks exactly the same because we followed everything that is indicated in the specifications and dimensions. Alright, so front view, the isometric view, right view, another isometric view at the left side, the back view, and then we can do translucent view, do isometric translucent view, and that's how it looks like. So I'm gonna put back in the shaded view and isometric. So that's the final product. That's the final 3D model based on the specifications provided, and that's about it. Have a great day and stay safe always. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you.